Psychic Business Mentor here, coming from the Big Island of Hawaii. And today I will be talking on my Fame and Fortune Impact Millions daily show. And if you're listening in, totally say hello. And if this is your first time to hear about me, totally, if you're listening to the replay, look at the bottom of the comments and you can totally comment and share with your any feedback that you learned, any takeaways that you learned, or anything that you want to share with me in terms of about this subject, or if you feel like there's something more that you need help with, totally reach out to me. So I see everyone's just jumping on in. Say hello. I will be talking about a really cool subject. So I hope that this will really enlighten you and for you to actually see a very different perspective. So just let me introduce myself. I'm a psychic business mentor, and I basically help 6 to 7 figure lady entrepreneurs, hopefully. Mostly I like to work with women. If you're a male, it's totally fine too. I like to work with them in helping them to up level with ease by actually using the Akashic records as my tool, and I actually help you to align to your divine gifts, your own unique business model through soul alignment. And everything that I do is actually I can clear all of that karmic soul level blocks that may be blocking you from actually manifesting what you desire in your life. And the whole goal is to live in alignment with your soul's design. So this show, if you're just, first time you're listening to me, this show is really all about helping you to really understand how fame and fortune and impacting millions is actually one of the things that you do want to value the most. And I'll talk about these kind of subjects in a very multidimensional level because normally people talk about it just maybe in the business sense or maybe about all the spiritual stuff that they know. But I'm actually really a balance between the spiritual and the business, and I understand both worlds. So if you just jump on in, totally say hi. I see Charlene just jumped in. And so that I know that you're listening in. A lot of people like to just watch me, so that's totally fine too if you don't want to say that you're listening. But it is very helpful because the way that I do my show is at any time you can jump off, but if you feel like you have some questions in the very end, you'll have some time to ask me some questions about the very subject that I'm talking about. So today's subject is about the 5 secrets to align to fame and fortune while still sleeping, eating, and having family time. I really believe that you should be living in your real life. But usually what happens when we become entrepreneurs is we actually end up creating another job, like how we had in our 9-to-5, rather than actually, living the lifestyle business that's really aligned to our soul. And we can get caught up in creating more fame and more fortune and trying to impact millions. And really what I mean by fame, fortune, impact millions, I really just mean fame, meaning being known for what you do, right? Fortune, meaning making good money off of doing your purposeful work. And impacting millions by just being of service and sharing your gifts with others and helping them to align to their divine gifts. So when I say fame, fortune, impact millions, that's really my definition. Hi Dee. So I really want to share from this perspective of actually what it really means to actually create more fame and fortune, but actually really doing it so you have more time for the things that you love doing, right? Like spending time with your family, spending time to just go out and have a nice dinner with your family, right? Spending time to actually have a really good night's sleep. Because if you cannot balance 3 basic things, which is eating well, sleeping well, and breathing well, you will end up with an emotional mess, in a chaotic situation. Your relationships is going bad, your health is going bad. It's so important to make sure that those 3 things are taken care of for sure. Hi Tara. So here is the secrets. So I'm a really good example of what it's like when you're actually, doing what you love, but doing your purposeful work, but it's not really totally in the soul aligned path. because I used to be a psychic monk and I was working for a spiritual group and my teacher. But the only reason I did that was because I was about impacting millions and about helping and being of service. That's really what I wanted to do. And having fame and fortune at the same time, I really got that by being a psychic guru. But really, I wasn't really aligned to what my divine gifts is, which is all about divine love and sacred space and healing and helping people to see what their gifts are, making them feel very wholesome, bringing it all together so that they can do their purposeful work and doing it with ease. So just the background about that. I basically, drained myself to the point where, I was losing my health. I was like working 7 days a week with no vacations. And really, actually, I did have a lot of time for myself too. I did. But because it wasn't a soul-aligned path, everything somaticized in my body, and I wasn't feeling fully fulfilled in what I love and what I do. And I think that's what happens when you're not following that right path. So the really number one secret to, align to fame and fortune and impacting millions this way is you really need to find out how to align to your actual real soul-aligned identity. So for me, I'm a healer soul. So I have to align to myself as a healer type of soul, which is all about connection, as a connector type of soul. My identity is about actually helping people connect, having good relationships, having the ability to have that divine love connection to yourself and to others. And that's what my message is all about, is sharing all of that. Okay, so you actually really need to identify what is your real soul-aligned identity. And that's what you actually want to align to, that unique way of like what your identity is all about. So like if you are like a power soul or your speaker soul, you definitely want to be aligned to your power, right? And you want to be aligned to your own way that you share your message and in teaching as like a teacher type of soul, right? There's some souls that are meant to just do the background stuff, right? Like they're just really techie and they're really creator souls and they're really good consultants in terms of like getting things implemented. And that's what their identity is all about. They are not the one that's going to get super famous or anything. They're going to be the one that's helping the person who is famous getting more fame and fortune, right? So all of our gifts have a very specific identity and you really, really want to line up to that. And if you don't know what it is, you simply can ask again, what is your core values? What do you stand for? And that will give you a very good idea of what your actual identity is about, your soul line identity is about. G says, I need one of them. Yeah. So you do want to make sure that it is in that right identity, right? So I'm always thinking of how can I connect myself and also with people, and I'm actually doing it in alignment with the way that my identity, that I see myself, which also can tell you again what is your business alignment, your unique business model. So that's the number one secret, is you first want to align to your real soul line identity. Okay. LD says, what do you mean core values specifically? Well, like for you, right? Change, having fun, those words that I use, right? Power, being empowered, inspiring. Those are really like core values that you value, right? Being free, having freedom. Those are core values. They're usually characteristics or they're phrases or they're just short words. You do want to make sure that that is what your actual energy identity is all about, right? The second one is you want to hustle, but in soul alignment. Okay, so actually, if you didn't listen to my last show yesterday, I talked about this, the difference between hustling to prove yourself versus actually hustling in soul alignment. There is a very big difference. Hi, Shima. And he says, perfect, that's what I wrote. Yeah, those words, those are your core values. Those are actually your core, your soul line identity. Okay, because the truth is, like, your identity is basically going to be like your dream self, like the part of you that is uniquely that like VIP version of what you think yourself is. That's your identity. You want to line up to that identity. Inspiring, motivating, fun, and empowering. Yes, there you go, Dee. That's the kind of like core soul line identity that you want to line up to. Okay. At any time, like if you have questions, totally just type in the box, okay, below. Okay, so the second thing, right, is hustling but in soul alignment. Okay, there is really a difference. So I gave that example yesterday where I was, I thought my soul's gift was about like being a teacher, about like training people as a psychic, right? So when I was being a psychic guru for my spiritual group there, I was mainly just trying to like do readings and healing work, and whether it was hands-on or was long distance or whatever, I had the storefront, this metaphysical storefront that allowed me to, you know, bring in the masses or different people just off the street. It was aligned to me in terms of as a healer, so I do need to be in front of people live, because my presence is what allows people to actually have their transformation that they actually want, right? Compared to a power soul, you don't necessarily need to be in front of people. You can be on video or whatever. You can empower people. It's totally fine. But for my soul as a healer soul, it's really important for me, for people to actually see me. So that's why all my posts, if you notice, I just take a picture of myself and my face, like, and that's how people connect to me, because they see me, right? Just because it's online, that's the only way I could do that, right? So anyway, when I was doing an unaligned path, I was trying to line up as a spiritual teacher, which is actually all about like helping people finding their soul's voice and, you know, teaching content and stuff like that. And then also I was training people, which was like doing yoga or meditation or showing them all these kind of exercises and stuff like that I learned from the group. And actually, honestly, that was very exhausting to me. It was like, I know how to do those things and I was really good at it. Like everybody said I was really good at it. And that's what it will feel like when you're actually trying to prove your worth, you know, and it's not in alignment actually with your actual real gifts. It's going to feel like you have to like prove what you do in terms of like getting people to that transformation. And it feels like hard. You know, you're hustling to get people to do things rather than it feeling really natural, right? So, you know, my soul alignment and hustling in my soul alignment actually was actually lining up to myself as a healer. What does a healer do? Hold sacred space, talk about how to bring people's gifts together, you know, being connected, bringing connection, all of that. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Kimberly. If you like what I'm saying, totally do likes and hearts. I totally love that. It makes me feel good that you're listening. Love the background. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Amanda. This is actually my brand type of colors and stuff, except for it doesn't have the teal, but that's actually my main colors. So anyway, what you would do is you just feel like you're just hustling, you're trying to prove your worth, you're trying to prove to everybody like, I'm really good at this. And I was really good at it. But my soul felt like, oh, this is so hard. Like, why is it so hard? I gotta train these people. I gotta do all these exercises and stuff like that. And actually, honestly, everything I do now, I don't even need to show anybody anything. I just do it in my mind. I go in the Akashic records, I clear people's stuff, you know, and it's so fast and easy, and I get people into transformation very quickly because that is my soul aligned way of doing it, right? So same thing if you're a power soul, you really want to make sure that you're inspiring, you're empowering, you're helping people you know, get into their power. And no matter what kind of tool you're using, just make sure it's lined up to that. If you're a teacher type of soul, you definitely want to be teaching a lot and sharing all your content 24/7. If you are a creative type of soul, you have to be creating all the time, right? You have to, you know, find the balance and, you know, create more peace around your situation, and be willing to be okay with doing all the techie things and stuff like that. So every soul has their particular soul identity, and also a certain way that you can hustle towards soul alignment, okay? And if it's not feeling good, it feels like you're trying too hard, it's not soul alignment, I'm telling you. So you really got to check that. So that's the secret, number 2, right? that's how it's going to get easier, because you're doing what you love, and it's just like easy. It doesn't feel like you have to try so hard. Marina says, I feel that way about cleaning. Everyone loves me as a cleaner and I'm amazing at it, but I didn't listen to the universe, and my heart and circumstances literally stopped me from doing it. Yeah, so see, like, whenever we do what we love doing, when we start off, we kind of just try different things out, right? And then you kind of end up in this like other direction, and you're like, well, that was good, but it doesn't feel good. And then you just keep doing it over and over and over again, and you honestly have to stop doing that thing. And then go in a different route and actually try and do the thing that's the most easiest for you. So like, for example, if you're a teacher, you love talking, you know, you would be probably on podcasts all the time, or you'd be like talking on these live streams all the time, right? If you're a sage type of soul, you definitely want people to ask you questions all the time, because you operate on whatever questions is coming through and you just want to share it, right? If you are, usually cleaner souls are very much like, what do you call, they're usually compassionate souls. They really just here to like really bring in the loving compassion, and like bringing the community, and just like making people feel really calm and compassionate to each other. That's really what normally they're either usually about creation, or they're usually about compassion. Normally, like those that are do social work type of work, they're normally very much like compassionate souls. So like I said, you really want to own up to that specific soul aligned identity, hustle into soul alignment for sure. Then that will make it easier. And the third secret is be willing to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. So whenever you're trying to up level yourself, or like getting into that new version of you, which, you know, is creating more fame and fortune, you know, making more money, right? Being more visible is what I mean about that. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable with everything that happens in your life now. Because, like, for example, like the only reason to maybe get a first class ticket, okay, if you're actually doing this right, the only reason to actually get a first class ticket is because it's the new version of actually what you normally do, which is maybe you normally just get, you know, the coach, right, in the back of the plane or the middle of the plane. You know, like, you have to always be willing to do something that's a bit uncomfortable, but it feels like it's a new version of you, the new identity of what you are. And as soon as you do that, oh my God, it's so uncomfortable, right? You're like, oh my God, I just spent like $300 more than I normally spend on myself to just get on a plane from A to B, right? Like, that new version of what you actually are, it will be uncomfortable. Always will, right? Whenever you get more fame and fortune, you're trying to get more in an expansive nature, so everything will feel really uncomfortable. So I purposely do these kind of things all the time, like, you know, like my cup here. Oh, drink water here. If you have water, drink some water now. This version of this cup, you know, I have like many different cups like this, but I had to find a really nice and fancy one because it was a newer version of me drinking this water cup. You know, so I purposely, even like if you drink coffee or something, get a better coffee, a premium coffee. So you're like doing that. And when you do that, it will feel really uncomfortable, but it means that it's a new version of you aligning to your fame and fortune. Okay. So that's the third secret. Be willing to get uncomfortable with really being uncomfortable about whatever it is that you're trying to up-level yourself, okay? Dee says, oh God, I did that today. Oh, good. Yeah, so totally do that. Like, this is what I do all the time. I purposely do this all the time. Thanks for saying this. Cool. So then the fourth thing is let the chaos happen. You actually literally have to, like, let go of perfection. Chaos will always happen when you're trying to create more fame and fortune for yourself. Ego sabotage comes up, where like things blocks you from actually doing what you actually wanted to do. But you actually need to allow, yes, you need to allow the chaos just to happen and just like watch it, right? But you also need to leverage what's actually working for you in alignment with actually your manifesting blueprints. Okay, so like for example, like my manifesting blueprint, I'm very process oriented. So everything I do, I just have to enjoy the process of what I'm doing. I just have the general intention, and then I create the thing. And normally whatever I create happens like 5 times or 10 times more, twice or 5 times or 10 times more than what I intended. So with my manifesting blueprint, that's one part of my manifesting blueprint. If you're very process oriented, you want to allow yourself to just enjoy the process of getting to what is working for you, right? But if you're outcome oriented, where you really need to be super specific on what you actually want to manifest in your life, you got to be willing to let go of the perfection about how the thing is going to come to you. You know, like, but just line up to the outcome and make sure that you're just taking steps with that. Totally. That's a good saying, let the chaos come. Yeah, you literally have to let the chaos happen. And the reason the chaos is happening is actually showing you that you're shifting your reality. So when like, oh my God, this is how I know I've shifted reality, is like, it gets really extremely like chaotic. Like my husband's yelling at me. My son is like crying. You know, we didn't sleep really well. We like didn't like take care of each other and we're screaming at each other or something like that. Or like my clients are upset at me, or just like, seems like chaos, like throwing at you here and there, back and forth. But I'm doing it on purpose. I'm doing it until I can line up to the actual, the actual thing that I want to align to create more fame and fortune, right? So while I'm doing that, I'm holding that vibration and keeping that identity of what I want the dream reality to look like. And then the next day, it's all sunny, the sky is blue, it's so quiet, it's so peaceful. Everything just feels like really calm. And normally that's when I know that I shifted my reality and that the chaos actually stops. Because I went into alignment to what that actually needed to become, right? The new version of myself. And then at the time when the chaos is happening, you actually want to leverage on the things that are really working for you, right? So if like, for example, you're getting more referrals, you know, from your clients or stuff like that, then you would go and talk to your clients and get more referrals so that you actually start still making money, even though the chaos is all happening. You actually have the ability to focus on the core vision of what you're trying to align to. So like, let's say you want to make 10K that month. You still want to make sure that you make the 10K, even though how chaotic it is, it doesn't matter. As long as you're aligned to that specific number, that specific soul aligned identity that you want, and hustle towards that in soul alignment, and you're getting uncomfortable in that feeling, and you're just like going with it, right? And the chaos is happening, but you're just holding that vision, and you make sure that you're leveraging what is actually working during that timeline, and you can totally still make a lot of money, you know, probably way more easier too. Marina says, is it about changing your reaction or vibration to the change and chaos? So you see it more as exciting and becoming conscious of moving through things rather than seeing it as a negative experience. Yeah, you're totally conscious. You're totally conscious of what is happening to you. So when it's going from a change of what you're not, right, what you don't actually want, and the chaos gets bigger, but you have to have the intention that you're moving towards that new experience that you want to create. So you actually have to hold on to that identity, that dream reality, that in line up to that. That's why I was saying about like having a number letter, so that no matter what is happening in the background, all the chaos is happening, and then bam, you shifted right into actually creating 10K or more. Actually, that's normally what happens to me, is like I let go of that. Well, for me, I let go of the outcome, and then I just go straight forward into the chaos and the whole mess, and then I'm like, oh, that's that particular vision or that specific thing. So you don't want to think of it as a negative thing. You just think of it like, oh, things are shifting into the right direction. But the thing is, though, you need to know if that is actually you creating ego sabotage, or is that really actually you're shifting into the right reality. I normally know if I'm doing an ego sabotage when it feels like it's like much harder than normal. And then I have to go find out why I'm sabotaging this thing from actually being created. But if I hold on to, again, that clear dream reality that I actually want, it's going to show up. It really will. Hi, Stephanie. Okay, so that's the fourth thing, right? Let the chaos happen, but leverage on the things that are working totally, right? So you actually got to do that. You actually have to go look for the things that are actually working for you, and go after it and hustle towards that. Make sure it's in alignment with your manifesting blueprints that you actually want to manifest. Hold on to that core vision, that identity of what you are actually trying to become, right? And then the fifth thing, right, is invest in actually clearing these solar blocks and these noises that actually are really affecting you and actually creating more chaos in your life, right? So what happens is when you have very deep soul level blocks, the chaos is so loud, like it's like triple loud. And it's really hard to control yourself to get into that dream reality that you were trying to create. And it's because those soul level blocks are keeping you heavy. It's sabotaging you from doing anything. And a lot of times when you have soul level blocks, it looks like this. You're procrastinating. You're not taking care of your basic needs. You start like getting super distracted and not doing actually what you truly wanted to do. You make excuses in your head like why things not working, right? Or relationship issues like just blow up in your face and you got to go fix it, or somebody's health goes bad, like your kids get super sick. Like those are normally when it's in an ego sabotage happening. And a lot of times when you have these soul level blocks, those things amplify even louder. So it's so important to actually have your Akashic record cleared, because those specific blocks will keep coming up. Every time you try to make more fame and fortune for yourself and impact millions, it gets bigger, it gets louder, it gets like harder, and you actually feel like you have to like hustle even more. And when that's gone, you actually will end up like hustling. You're like hustling, but you have less chaos happening. So that's what's happening for me. It's because I cleared all 4 levels of my Akashic records, and for myself, my husband, and my son. And so every time, whenever I just want to launch something, the chaos may show up, but it's not as intense. Like when I first learned about this practice, it was so loud. Like my husband was misaligning everything. He was really upset all the time. My son got sick a lot. Like it was just really bad. And at the time I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was really trying to like change my whole reality into being, an entrepreneur. And now I'm a breadwinner of my family. I retired my husband from his 9-to-5 job, and like because I cleared all of these soul level blocks, so now all I do is I just focus on creating more fame and fortune and impacting millions. And so I really believe like if you really can, take care of these 5 basic secrets that I just told you, okay, I'm pretty sure it'll be really easy. It will feel like you're in soul alignment. You feel like you're just really happy and feeling in abundance. Okay, so anybody have any questions about that? Like, I know I talked a pretty long time about this subject. So again, there's 5, right? There's those 5 secrets. And these secrets actually I learned from experience. So that's what I'm telling you. I found that if you are aware of these 5 things, you probably will be operating in a very different nature, right? It's gonna like feel easy. It's gonna feel like it's flowing. It's gonna feel like you're really aligning to that soul-aligned identity, right? Like you're just being yourself. Okay, so now you guys can ask me your questions. Totally at the bottom, comment below. If you just like got an awakening, like totally just share with me like, oh my God, like I just realized that, this part is what's missing. This is what I need help with. Or, do you think like you are really hustling in soul alignment? Do you feel like what is your soul identity? Do you feel like, that you have some of these soul level blocks? Do you feel like you're willing to get really uncomfortable? Do you feel like you can actually go past the chaos and, you know, be in control of this so that you can actually manifest more fame and fortune for yourself and impacting millions? Like, think about it. Like, are you there? Marina says, can you review the 5 things, please? I think I missed one. Oh, actually, I just said it right now. But I didn't do it in order. Kimberly says, could you bullet point the 5 things again? Okay. I'll do that. Okay, so I'll go in order from what I just said. Okay. Marina says, the stretching myself is what has been missing. I've been retreating. Yeah, so stretching, meaning like you're trying to get to the next level. Is that what you mean? Because normally when you're trying to get to that next level, you do either go into fear mode and you retreat, or you actually, you know, go out there and you're expanding yourself. Okay, so again, still sleeping, eating, and having family time. Okay, so number 1 is you want to align to your real soul aligned identity. Because when you know what you're aligning up to, which is your divine gifts, honestly, everything will fall underneath that. Marina says, yes, next level. Yeah, okay, next level. Yes. You definitely want to make sure that you're not retreating. Okay, so that's number 1 is you want to actually really align to that dream reality of that like soul aligned identity that you actually want to create. Okay. That's so important because without that, you have to choose it. You have to choose to be in that aligned state. Second thing is hustle, but be in soul alignment. Okay. So I was explaining to you what it's like when you're actually hustling. Is actually you're hustling to prove your worth and prove like whatever you do is like very valuable, and that's not soul alignment. You end up like trying to do other people's gifts. And you end up like feeling not fulfilled, but everybody else is happy and they say like, oh, you're like amazing and you're doing amazing stuff, but it's really not your soul aligned nature. It's not your soul aligned identity. That is the second thing for sure. Like you really need to make sure you're hustling towards your soul alignment. Third thing is you have to be willing to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. So if you actually want to up level anything in your life, you have to be really truthful to yourself. Like, what is it that I don't like? Like, I don't like my belly. Like, I should go and do sit-ups. I don't like the fact that I have to like wait all day and wait for my son to get out from his soccer games because I just don't like the soccer games. Like, then you actually would probably have to do something uncomfortable so that you're not going to these soccer games or something like that. Like, you gotta like look at what are the things that you need to get uncomfortable to get to that new version of what you want to become. So I gave that example of, you know, taking first class, even though you don't need to spend $300 more on first class. It's just more about you up-leveling that identity of actually that's your new normal. You just take first class. You know, you're not thinking about it, about the price or anything. You're just thinking about what is that unique way that you can just, you know, be that identity that you want to become. And usually it's a very up-leveled version, right? Fourth thing is let the chaos happen, but also leverage what is working for you in alignment with your manifesting blueprints. So I gave that example of like you either got to do it, if it, for example, it was like a process or outcome, you really do want to make sure that you're in your process or you're in your outcome, right? That you're being very specific, or you're just enjoying your process of what you're doing. And you actually have to allow the chaos just to happen. You don't have to, and while the chaos is happening, you're shifting reality into the one that you want to. You're definitely going to need to leverage what is working for you. So if you make good money by getting more referrals, then try your best to go and contact your clients to get more referrals. If you know like your $100 service is really working for you and a lot of people love it, then go post and do some market research and get people to actually buy that $100 thing or something like that. Like, but do the action that is in alignment that you can leverage to make sure that you're aligning up to that specific vision, right? So I give the example of like aligning to making 10K months or something, if that's really what your actual reality is about, right? You line up to that and make sure that even though the chaos is happening, you're holding on to that vibration of actually what that you are creating at 10K no matter what, because you're aligning all of that and you're leveraging what is actually working. Fifth one is invest in clearing your soul level blocks. it will actually let you hustle with less chaos, right? Like, so this is what I do is I go in your Akashic records, I go find out what is the chaotic mess that's causing all of these soul level blocks that's not allowing you to manifest what you desire in your life. And I'm looking at the core things that needs to be removed. And once that's removed, you're just naturally just creating, and you're creating more fame and fortune, and you impact the millions. It's just a very natural thing. I think like we can have it all. I think we can have that next level of a version of what we want to become. But it's all about soul alignment, business alignment, lining up to that identity, locking that in, and being okay with that chaos is just happening, you know? Okay, so I hope that I explained it. Those five of them. I said it in very key phrases. So if you missed me, go listen to the replay. Anybody else have any questions? Then now is the time to ask me. But otherwise, then we can finish here. It's so important to make sure that you are in alignment in what you're doing, right? In alignment in creating a fame and fortune. Marina says, brilliant, thank you. Oh, thank you. He says, this is awesome, got to go. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, so if you really feel like you need this help, you feel like, okay, like I don't know what my soul alignment is about, what my business alignment is about. I don't know if I have what kind of soul level blocks that I have. Like, totally reach out to me. I can actually look it all up in your Akashic records. Kimberly says, thank you. How do you clear the Akashic records? Oh, yeah. So you have to, in Akashic records, you have to be super specific. So it's actually, you have to have a certain protocol to know what you're looking up. And once you know what that is, it will help you to clear it very simply. And it's just with intention. The Akashic records is just with intention. So whatever you want to be cleared, you just do the intention. You say like, this is cleared. That's it. that's usually what I do. But you have to do all your psychic researching about what it is that needs to be cleared, and then I can clear it. That's how I do it, actually. I'm sure everybody out does it in a different way, but Akashic records, to clear something, all it takes is intention. All right, so did I answer everybody's questions? Everybody loved what I was sharing. So if you love what I just shared with you, totally make sure you subscribe and make sure that you click the button. There's I think a little blue button at the top. Maybe it has a picture of me or might say subscribe, and so that you can actually get on your news feed whenever I do this on my personal page. You're going to see me that I went on live. And if you love this, totally share. There's like a running man, I think, at the bottom where you can actually share this. And get into my Facebook group, which is the Monetize Your Divine Gifts movement. You can just type that up. And if you like any of my live streams and you missed stuff, go back on my personal page by just clicking on my face, and go to my business page. And there I have all of my live stream there. I actually also put this on my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could actually be alerted whenever I get on this. And I share really valuable information in terms of how to create more fame and fortune and impacting millions. So that's my goal, is to educate you in understanding of how all these kind of work, all of these things kind of work. And whenever we talk about the subject, you have a chance to just ask me questions. So, all right. And I'm actually creating new programs, group programs, and clearing work that I could be doing in a group setting. So have a look out for that. And if you want to know what your divine gifts is, you can actually take my quiz. It's the Divine Business Gifts quiz. And it's just on my website. You can go to www.beingalohi.com. And that you can totally just, you can answer all these certain questions and see what your divine business gifts are. Which, remember I was talking about your soul line identity. That's what I mean. It's like knowing what your gifts is, your main core values, your main core energies of what your soul is originally from source. So that is I made that quiz specifically just from experience of talking to 150 people in my free strategy sessions, and I've done like millions of readings, honestly. And I was able to pinpoint the 3 major type of gifts that people have. And that is the core values and everything that you stand for, where you find peace of mind, and where you actually, when you line up to it, you feel really, really at peace with what you do. So anyway, if you want to have all of that, just go on my website and you can get access to that. And I will be having a webinar coming up very soon, so you can totally, you know, you might see that on my newsfeed, or you might see in other Facebook groups or something. I might just post everywhere. But be sure you're on my list, because then you can get, you will know when I actually do that stuff. Okay, so anyway, you guys have an amazing day. If you have no other questions, I love connecting with you guys. This is why I love doing this, doing my show here. And if you have any questions, totally reach out to me, personal message me. I love helping people. So you guys have an amazing day. And tomorrow I will do this probably again. I do this Monday to Friday, my daily show. So you can listen to more subjects just like this. All right. Have an amazing day. Aloha.